Hello and welcome back to another Warlords of Draenor video. So quite a lot has happened in the last hour and there's actually going to be two videos about it, basically because they're different topics and I don't want to get everything mixed up. This video, however, is going to be about the release date of Warlords of Draenor. We finally have a date and it is the 14th of November. That is basically 3 months from now and it's right after BlizzCon. I've got to say, that's pretty late. That's real late, actually. And what that's going to mean is, well, you got another 3 months Siege of Orgrimmar, so if you still haven't killed Garrosh Hellscream, well, now is your chance. Yeah, they're definitely going to have an issue with player retention, actually, and I believe that the numbers for the next quarter are going to come out right after, right before Warlords of Draenor comes out. That is very interesting to me, actually. And very interesting indeed. I don't know what we're going to look like for the next quarter, but I don't think it's going to be very good. I'd say we might even drop another million, maybe another 800k. I'd say that would be quite possible, so that would put Warcraft down to what, maybe 5-point-something million? Look, it wouldn't surprise me, you know, there's been no content, there will continue to be no content. This means that Siege of Orgrimmar will have lasted, of course, for 14 months, which is, I think, by far the longest any raid tier has lasted for, which is a bit of a bummer. So before I move on, there's just one or two more things I want to say about the release date. So first of all, from a personal perspective, oh dear god, this could not suit me any worse. Actually, no, it could suit me worse. If the game came out on the Thursday that I left for Iceland in September, then I'd be pretty sad, but this is going to happen right during university crunch time. Oh yeah, I'm going to be knee-deep in bloody DirectX and OpenGL, there'll be C++ whirling around the place, and, well, let's just say I've now got a serious motivation to learn my shit beforehand and not let down any teams that I might be a part of. I suppose one other thing as well is that this is coming out right smack bang in the middle of the big release window where all those big, you know, the Call of Duties and the Skyrims and the popular games for popular people come out. Yay, we get to be popular people too! But yeah, it really is right in that November time slot when it's going to be definitely fighting for your money. However, let's just look sort of historically back at things. Cataclysm came out in and around that kind of period of time, and it did super well in terms of its day one, like, boxed sales. It did really, really well. Now, that said, it did have, I think, one of the most effective hype trains I've ever seen for an expansion. You know, we had people like Total Biscuit and reporting really great stuff from the beta, and yeah, well, maybe it fizzled out afterwards, but certainly it had an amazing hype train. Hopefully, Blizzard will be able to kind of reignite that a little bit. We've got the Lords of War thing coming, and of course the cinematic is just mind-blowingly fantastic. So, yeah, overall I think they are actually going to have a very strong launch week. Now, let's just talk about the actual beta stuff. Of course, judging by the speed of the beta, I'm actually really surprised that it was this late, and the reason for that's because they actually nearly finished heroic testing last night. I think they got the last 3 bosses finished, and they're actually moving on to Mythic raid testing now. I just find it hard to believe that we're doing the Mythic raid tests over the next while, and then we're going to be waiting for 2 months, or maybe even 3 months, for the expansion to come out. So, what I've got to wonder is, you know, they must have a lot more work planned. They really must. Just judging on how things are being rather sort of quickly iterated on with the beta, it still seems like they're on a full crunch in terms of not just polishing things up, but also designing new content and sort of iterating through their designs. We haven't fully seen the level 100 content yet, in terms of the outdoor world stuff, so that's going to be a little bit of a fun issue, I suppose, to find out over the next few months. Raids and dungeons are basically all there now. The next thing they need to do is test out the challenge modes, but most heroics have been tested, and all normals have been tested. In terms of other things, well, you know, it's kind of funny with this delay to wonder that, well, we're not getting things like Bladespire, Caribor, Tanan, etc. I know a lot of people have been saying, well, how about they just delay a month and finish those places? Well, it would seem like that won't happen because they didn't really talk about it, but you never know. There is a whole bunch of news that will be coming out over Gamescom in the next while, and I'm sure we're going to find out a lot. And by the way, don't take this video as just me being ultra sad or anything. I'm just going to present the facts, and I think that while what's went on has been awesome, you know, the trailer, which I'll talk about in another video, it's just one of the best trailers they've made. You know, all that stuff has been awesome, but there are some, you know, real legit things to talk about here, and we all have to, at the end of the day, just sit down like adults and think them over, you know? So then, how are things going to pan out with Warlords? Do I think things are going to be fine? Do I think it's going to be great? Whatever. Well, actually, yeah, I do think that things are going to be pretty good with Warlords of Draenor. The actual content that's there is really good. You know, the dungeons are fun from what I've heard. The raids are pretty good as well. I haven't got to test all of the stuff there, unfortunately. And the leveling content, as I covered in my top 10 video, is also really fun. I'm a bit concerned about alts, but still, it's very fun. And overall, I think Warlords of Draenor is going to be a very good expansion. And I suppose this is just, you know, the extra 3 months that they need to polish things up. I suppose, thinking about it, you know, the beta did seem to have a lot of features crammed into it, but a lot of them seem to be not very, you know, far on, or sort of still very much work in progress. Like, I know that for garrisons at the minute, they are still trying to actually iterate and nail down some of the main designs that's going on there. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in flux at the minute, and that's, in a way, a good thing, because as you guys know, I've had, I'd say, mixed, but overall, quite positive views in Warlords. You know, I was a little bit bummed out in the garrisons, and the same goes for Ashran, but if they do have this amount of time, I think they're going to be able to make things a lot better, honestly. Now, in Ashran, I know that there's an update coming, which is going to try to fix up some of the major concerns that people had with the main lane, so that'll be really nice. And you never know, maybe there'll be a Blade Spire sneaking in there, maybe they'll make it so the Tanan Jungle comes out maybe only a month or two after the expansion launches. We don't know what'll happen, but this is hopefully going to buy them the time to ensure that Warlords of Draenor is an expansion that launches extremely strong. I haven't really made a video on this, but it's something that was concerning me, and that was just the amount of level 100 sort of endgame, but not raid content, and the quality of it. I was just a bit concerned about that, because I hadn't seen too much, but obviously I knew that it was still beta, and I knew that there wasn't really enough to really talk about too much. So I suppose that I'm now a little bit less concerned about that, now that I definitely know that Warlords will not be coming out in September or October, and that they will in fact have the extra time. So yeah, overall, I think it's an interesting discussion. Things are looking great for the expansion. I sort of worry for the health of the game over the next 3 months, but you know what? That's just something we're going to have to deal with. And hopefully Blizzard will have something cool up their sleeves to blow us all away with. Anyway, that's it for this video. There may be 1 or 2 more sort of smaller videos coming out on the channel based on this, just because I kind of like to have my topics sort of sealed away in nice little neat videos, so do check those out. And I think my question to ask you guys is, do you think it's a good time to release the game? I'm really interested to hear how this is going to coincide with just people's IRL plans and things like that. Anyway, that has been it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.